Hello everyone, I'm Mark Sain and welcome to Sain Investment Solutions. Please take a moment to pause this video and review the following disclaimer. Thank you for that. Welcome to week 49 of the Forex market review. Today we're going to take a look at one pair which has been trading this week, the New Zealand US dollar, and then a bunch of other pairs which look like maybe setting up later in the week or early next week. Without any ado, let's jump straight to the charts. So here we are starting on the New Zealand US dollar. Early in the week, we're looking at this trade, looking at a potential 1, 2, up for 3, down for 4, and a pushback higher for wave 5 on the weekly chart. Where would we like it to go? Well, using our Fibonacci expansion tool, we go from the highs to the lows, or in this case, the lows to the highs, because we're looking for an up direction of the wave 3 motion. The pullback for wave 4, we've seen our A, B, C motion, and it looks like it's probably going to find some support around this level here and push back high up until these levels we're looking at taking the trade. We'll just go ahead and drop a tool in there, and I'll go ahead and delete that, drop down to the daily chart. So what we want to see is we'll see that ABC, we've seen it bounce off now this 200 EMA line on the daily chart, looking to push higher. On the 4-hour chart, we wanted to see divergence. So we see our push down, up and back down again with our lower low in price and our higher AO. So that gives us divergence indicator advising that this wave 3 motion, 4 and 5 have now ended. So pushing back higher, so it looks like we're probably going to struggle around this daily 200 EMA line. So we can find another couple more candles, push back higher. It's going to make that move back up to these levels up here. Scrolling, pushing back higher, that's the weekly forecast, but based on the daily time frame, I'd be looking at this DSR zone as my first initial exit point. So 1-hour chart, we've seen some push back higher, down and back higher again. So now it looks like an ABC pattern. So looking for some momentum off these levels here. Some of you may have taken the official trade, which would have been this 3 down for 4, push back higher, looking at a break of that 200 EMA, putting stops around 50 pips to make 100. So you definitely would be at break even at this case if you had the very tight stop loss. But if you got one a bit lower down here, about 100 pips, then you'd be waiting for the break of these highs for a moving to break even point. But the potential for this is a good 1 to 3 to 1 to 4 risk to reward on this trade, back up into these areas up here and a little bit higher if we can make it. So looking forward through the week, we've got a couple of trade setups. Here we have the Aussie USD. On the weekly time frame, we see it 3, pulling back for 4, looking for a push back lower. So on the daily time frame, we can see it's pushed down and it's pushed back, and it's trying to retest this daily 200 EMA line, which is going to find some resistance. And on the 4-hour chart, we have our divergence. So it's just started divergence. We had the slightly higher high in price with the lower AO. And on the 1-hour chart, we don't have divergence just yet. So what we're probably looking for on the 1-hour chart is the pushback higher. And if we can just get that slightly pushback higher, so something just past those levels there, and then see a nice decent pushback lower, then we're going to see our divergence on the 1-hour time frame as well. So we're going to want it to break this 200 EMA line, then pull back, retest it, then look at stops maybe around 50 to 100 pips, and looking at getting out down to these bottoms here. If you had the 50 pip stop loss, you can get 1 for 2. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing it a lot lower down to past these levels here for that new continuation for the wave 5 lower on the 4-hour chart. Euro pound, we have a similar setup, 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart, pull back for 4, How far has it pulled back? We'll grab our Fibonacci retracement tool. We want to see a minimum of 38.2, which has done that. Starting to find a bit of support around this daily DSR zone area. So if we drop down to the daily chart, we can see it's bouncing off the daily 200 EMA and the daily support area. So that's a good sign that it's likely going to go higher. Do we have divergence in the lower time frame? We do. So we have our lower low end price and our higher AO. Remember, clear divergence when it comes back above the line. Otherwise, it's just regular divergence, which is a hump within a hump like this one here. But we want to see clear divergence. So if we can see a pushback higher past this 200 EMA line, probably, hopefully, preferably see it push maybe back up into these levels here, then you would be looking for a pullback for support and then another push back higher up into these levels here. So risking probably about 200 pips max to make about 500 pips. So that's a good 1 to 2.5 risk to reward potential to these levels here. If you're taking this trade here and you want to take this one as a wave 3, then you need to have that pullback for minimum 38.2, which has come back. Then you'd be looking for an entry. But however, because it's already below the 200 EMA line on the 1 hour chart. For me, I don't like that type of setup. I really want to see a potential on the 4 hour. So I really want to see it push a lot higher before having it pull back. The pound Aussie and the pound New Zealand are the next two trades we're going to look at. Both of these are identical, both being against the pound, and Aussie and New Zealand follow together quite closely. So we can see this pushback lower on the weekly chart. We're starting to see a pushback higher. We see some divergence with our lower low end price and a higher AO on the daily chart. Dropping down to the 4 hour chart, we're now starting to see divergence as this uptrend has occurred. That's what we want to see. We want to look for the divergence on the 4 hour chart. So because we have our divergence on the 4 hour chart, we're now looking to take a possible move lower. So on the daily chart, this could be 1, coming back for 2. So on the 4 hour chart, this has done its 5 waves. So if it's coming back to 2, it's coming back to these levels here. Do we have any divergence on the 1 hour chart? We do, just slightly have divergence, higher high in price and our lower AO. So if we can see it push, probably it might do something like that, have a bit of a retest, come down, push down below this 200 EMA line and then come back up and retest it again. Then we would want to be looking at our points of entry there. Stop losses up here around 250 pips if you want to be very conservative. And then you're going to take it down to this DSR zone down here. So we're looking around 250 to make 1,000. That's a good 1 to 4 risk to reward. With a great success rate like that, you've got to get 4 wrong with this 1 win and you just break even. So that's why we always want to win bigger than we lose. So we really want to see a bit more of a down pressure before we look at entering this trade. And you'll see the pound New Zealand, same setup, 3 pushing back 4 on the weekly chart. But on the daily chart, we have our divergence, lower low in price with higher AO. 4 hour chart, we have our divergence as well, higher high in price and lower AO. So because this pushback is likely to come back down to this DSR zone, similar to the pound Aussie, you definitely only want to take one of the 2 trades, whichever one has a better technical setup at the time. Again, we want to see it push down, retest this 4 hour 200 EMA line with a bit of a pushback higher. Then on the 1 hour chart, we're probably going to see it break and then push back up to the 1 hour DSR, to the 200 EMA line. So looking for the break or the bounce off the 4 hour, but the retracement on the 1 hour for our entry. Risking about 250 pips again and driving it all the way down to the bottom there. Probably looking at another 1,000 pips. So as you can see, exactly the same, 250 pip stop loss, 1,000 pip profit, a good 1 to 4 risk to reward. So whichever one technically sets up better, definitely the one I'm going to be taking, and whichever one I feel is going to be the stronger pair against the pound, I'm going to be taking that one as well. If I think the New Zealand's coming up with interest rates and they're going to drop the interest rates, which will make it weak, then I might take the Aussie, because the Australian Reserve Bank has already advised that interest rate was kept on hold yesterday at 1.5%. So therefore, there's no real surprises in the market, but the New Zealand will be coming up with an announcement soon, which could affect this trade if the entry had confirmed. So thank you for that. That was week 49 of the Forex market review. Please take a moment to pause these videos, rewind, fast forward to points you want of interest, and just really get a clear understanding. By now, most of you will really understand the rules I like to trade, where I want to see that divergence before I get into it. So I know it's weak and then it's likely to turn, and then I want to see some 200 EMA lines broken, which are normally support areas or resistance areas, and then looking at the retest and then taking those trades in the directions required. And based on that, and using risk to reward to try to make more than I lose, that's the name of the game, and that's how we become successful. So I hope these 3 videos are doing you well, and here at Sane Investment Solutions, we wish you all the best in your success. Take care. Bye-bye.